Whew, I am getting too old for this shit. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show, presented by BetUS. This was gonna be the Ariel Huxporty. Got to have the X in there, otherwise it's wrong. This was going to be the Ariel Huxporty happy hour for about 2.5 quarters, in which this was going to be a very different type of post game. And then NBA basketball happened, and it turned into a different type of game with some stuff that will certainly leave some people feeling frustrated, but also if you're in the mood to increase your, I don't know if anybody out there has any Jalen Brunson MVP bets, your odds probably went up a little bit tonight. Here's what I'm going to say at the outset. Two things. Number one, a win is a win is a win. Never forget that. There is no such thing as an easy win in the NBA. Doesn't matter who you're playing. Doesn't matter how much you're up. You take the wins and you move on. And for the Knicks, like they're playing better ball. I know they've had certainly more quality wins over the last however many weeks than they probably had in the whole year. We talked about that a lot last night. There is no such thing as a bad win. There is no such thing as a win that you're not going to appreciate, that you're not going to be like, okay, we're happy to bank that one. And now sitting here through 51 games, you have exactly twice as many wins as you do losses. So anyway you cut it, that's a good season. And the second thing I'm going to say, and again, this is more directed if you are feeling a little down, if you are feeling a little frustrated by the fact that they were up by 23 and this was a 1-point game at one point down the stretch. How many times did we as Knicks fans sit down to watch a basketball game in which we were clearly outclassed, clearly out-talented, clearly not on the same level as the team that we were playing in any way, shape, or form, if that team cared and gave a crap and was doing all the things they're supposed to do. And then gutty, gritty, never give up, never say die, scrappy, clawy is now a word. Don't ask me how to spell it. Effort gets him back closer. And then the other team just has one of those guys that hits a few shots down the stretch. And you go home empty-handed. And after every one of those efforts, I know how I always felt. And it was, boy, oh boy, I hope someday we could get one of those guys. Because for as much fun as it is to scrap and claw our way back in a game that we had no business being in to begin with, feels better to win those games, even if you're the team that gave up the lead that you had no business giving up. And so carrying forward off of the theme of last night, which was, in short, thank God the Knicks have Jalen Brunson, I'm going to go run it back a second time because any good movie deserves a sequel. Thank God the Knicks have Jalen Brunson, whose jersey I should have put on last night and I didn't. So I'm trying to make up for it tonight. Made the plays he needed to make down the stretch. None bigger. Kevin, we could get the autograph signature moment of the day out of the way pretty early here. The 3-pointer, which was, the confidence that it takes to pull from that distance in that spot by Jalen Brunson. But Jalen Brunson, why wouldn't he be confident? Because he is doing this every night, night after night after night. Doesn't matter the situation, doesn't matter the circumstances, doesn't matter the pressure. And the shot came with 52 seconds left. You knew they only needed one more basket, 26 seconds left. I got the 3-pointer confused with the 20-foot step-back jump shot, which would have been the autograph signature moment of the game if it wasn't for the 27-footer that came half a minute later. Put him up 121 to 115, and that was that. So that's your autograph signature moment of the game. Don't forget, download the autograph app. Use code KFS. I will have a new 3x3 up there tomorrow. And we're getting a lot of these signature moments. Had one last night against Houston, a massive 3-pointer. Had another one tonight against Toronto, a massive three-pointer. He is making a habit out of getting these plays done. Was it Jalen Brunson's best game? Absolutely not. I don't know if we're not overvaluing the last several minutes, last 2-3 minutes of this game. You could argue that it was one of Jalen Brunson's weaker games of the season up until, again, the last 3-4 minutes. And yet you look up and he finishes with 28 points on 21 shots. That's what the captain does. And he does it again and again and again. So that's that. That's the main takeaway for this game. Am I going to be more high on the fact that they built up a 23-point lead, talking about the beginning portion of the game, or am I going to be more low on the fact that they gave up almost the entirety of that 23-point lead over the final 18 or so minutes? I'll split the baby. Let's talk about the bad first, and then we'll end with some good, because I always like to end on a high note. Second night of a back-to-back, which you'd like to use as an excuse, except when you show the energy, and they had energy tonight. Like, energy wasn't a problem. Did some of that energy maybe dissipate in the second half? Sure. When you build up that lead and you are that close to the kill shot, and they, when they went up by, wrote it down, they were up 76-55, and the Raptors called a timeout. It looked like they had broken their spirit. Raptors came back, hit a bucket. I think it might have been a quickly three. After that, they actually went down, or went up by 23. And then my issue with them losing the lead is because they didn't lose it because they were tired. They lost it because they were careless. I'm not going to pick on the offense. It's impossible to pick on the offense when you put up 121 points. Their offense was not the problem tonight. I mean, yeah, they got a little stuck in the mud there in the fourth quarter, and it almost came back to bite them in the ass. That I'll blame on the tired legs. But the lackadaisical defense, the lack of attention to detail, the not getting back in transition, the not rotating over to three-point shooters when you really did a pretty good job of all of that stuff for the majority of the night, give or take some stuff in the first quarter. Like, you were serious enough defensively to carry a 17-point lead at the half, and you were serious enough defensively in the opening minutes of the third quarter to basically, do what you had to do to win the game. And then you were right there. And it's almost like they miscalibrated. It's almost like their calibration was off by like 3%, where they were like, we've done enough. We could relax. And it was, nope, you haven't quite done enough. And they opened the door, and then the Raptors walked right through the door. As far as like the stuff, the stuff that happened to get it once the Raptors started chipping away, give Toronto credit. They hit some shots. Again, the Knicks defense was poor. I don't know that I would say that the Knicks played much of any good defense over the last 18 or so minutes of that game. But Toronto, 38% from three on the night. The Knicks, 32% from three on the night. If you're keeping track of my favorite stat of the season, that is now the, I believe, 9th win that the Knicks have had in which they failed to make at least 33% of their threes. So yet again, we get a Knicks victory when they can't hit the far side of a barn, which they didn't until it really counted late tonight. I think they got rattled and they couldn't really recalibrate. I will give, we could quibble with some of the lineups that were in during that time. Again, I think they lost, or they almost lost this game on defense because they just weren't making the proper rotations. They weren't paying attention to detail. They weren't as locked in as they needed to. And I think the one thing that you do have to at least acknowledge is that for as tired as Jalen looked when he first checked back in the game in the fourth quarter, I think the minutes were such that nobody was overextended. Brunson only played 34 tonight, and that's really the key there. McCall's a little high, which, his impact kind of dissipated maybe as the game went on. But then again, they weren't trying to even go after Mikal Bridges on the defensive end. So I think that's a good sign. I think that's all I want to say about the bad. Like, look, you live and you learn. Take it more seriously next time. It's not a big deal. This shit happens. And again, it's the NBA. Everybody makes a run. Hopefully you just have a guy that's good enough to rescue you when you fall asleep a little bit. And the Knicks had that tonight. On to the good stuff. I thought tonight was, offensively at least, an incredibly encouraging Karl-Anthony Towns game. It was a reminder of just how dangerous Karl-Anthony Towns can be and how many different ways that he could beat you. Finished with 27 points and 20 rebounds, 9 of which were on the offensive glass. He had, I believe, 4 of those offensive rebounds within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. The Knicks as a team, and this is, again, what makes the lineup question without Precious or without OG Anunoby such an interesting one. The Knicks as a team grabbed 17 offensive rebounds. That's the sort of number that you would have expected them to get last season. And in the first half, had 18 second chance points to Toronto's 0. That is a formula for winning. For as much as there will be people out there who want to hem and haw and cry about the lack of spacing with 2 non-shooting bigs and occasionally with a third non-shooter in there in Hart, the advantage that stuff gives you on the offensive end and the theoretical advantage that those lineups should give you on the defensive end, although tonight they weren't very good defensively, is notable. And I think you saw that gambit pay off in large part tonight. And I think the other encouraging thing, and Towns, I should mention, tonight was took 3 threes. So still the volume's not there, but made 2 of them. So that's, again, for a lot of Knicks fans, I think the the biggest worry at the moment was Towns' ability to rediscover his 3. Took 3, made 2. That's a good sign. He was the one guy who was hitting him tonight. So, but the other thing I think you liked is I do think the Knicks discovered some stuff offensively with the Precious lineups, with Precious at the 4. He starting to get used to moving around a little bit more, getting more involved, doing some of those OG Anunoby cuts that OG has scored on so many times. We saw a few of those tonight. That's good stuff. That's how you can really keep your offensive rating up that high, even with the lack of shooting. And give him credit, he made a corner 3 tonight. And if that last shot, that would have been, again, the autograph signature moment of the game if that shot had counted, but it released right after the buzzer. So some good stuff from Precious. I thought they integrated him well. So that was a good sign. Josh Hart showed up when Josh Hart needed to show up. It's funny. I think he had a Frank Ntilikina stat line at the half, finishes with 15, 7, and 6, including a play that will get forgotten about because of the Brunson shots down the stretch. But Josh Hart grabbing his own miss under the basket and putting it back in was just, I thought, an absolutely massive play for momentum. And speaking of massive plays for momentum, how about the defense by Jalen Brunson on Scotty Barnes with about 2.5 minutes left? This is now becoming a bit of a theme where Jalen Brunson gets matched up onto a far superior offensive player, a player that the Knicks go out of their way to make sure he does not get matched up against, and he seems to find a way to come make these big defensive plays late. Last night it was the big defensive play against Amin Thompson when he was having the game of his life. Tonight it was the big defensive play against Scotty Barnes to poke the ball away, again with 2.5 minutes left. So great to see that from Brunson. That's the thing. There's a lot of good signs from this game. Good stuff from Cat. Good stuff from Precious. Good stuff from Brunson down the stretch. Again, I thought McCall played a pretty good game overall. Hart came around. And then the bench. And now, finally, after I've been talking for 15 minutes, now we could talk about Ariel Hukporti. And that'll be the last thing that I talk about, and then we'll get to the Super Chats. I don't know what the Knicks are going to do in the next, what do we got? 40 hours? 42 hours? Some whereabouts. It's 10:17. 42-ish hours. I have no idea what they're going to do. I believe all the reporting that, again, once is an accident, or once is an accident, twice coincidence, 3 times the trend. I know there's a rumor that Jonas Valanciunas might be getting traded to Phoenix. When a guy like Ian Begley, and you heard Ian on this show last week, keeps going back and back to the well, if the Knicks have doubts about Mitchell Robinson, they're gonna hunt for a big man. If you were a conspiracy theorist, and I'm going to bring this back to Huck Porty, I promise. If you were a conspiracy theorist, you might suggest that the Knicks saying, "Oh yeah, Mitch, good medical, he's back, taking contact, the whole thing." You might suggest that that is them putting on a little bit of a song and dance to make the rest of the league think that they are not desperate for a big. So they're kicking the tires. Like, there's no doubt that they're kicking the tires. I wonder how much, if at all, Huck Porty's showing you some real stuff tonight. I wonder how much that changes it, if at all. Look, he's a rookie. I don't know that there are many coaches in the league who would trust rookies in the playoffs unless they absolutely had to. This coach obviously is towards the far end of that spectrum, even if the spectrum itself is skewed towards not playing rookies. But Huck Porty could do some real stuff, man. And you saw it defensively in the last 5 minutes of the first half, moving all around the damn court, shuffling his feet, switching seamlessly, getting great contests, made a couple nice plays on offense. I mean, I thought when he caught the ball and had that nice finish at the rim, I think he missed the free throw, but like that was awesome. Had a couple assists. He is, if you look at his switchability, if you look at his ability to guard the pick and roll, if you look at his ability to get real rim protection, and his ability to match up one-on-one, and like he fouled a million times last night. Tonight, he was much better. Didn't have it so much in the second half. Like, I just wonder how much they are considering this. Like, we know he's part of their plans moving forward. If he wasn't part of their plans moving forward, they wouldn't be, we wouldn't be hearing all the rumors that they're going to trade Jericho Sims somewhere for something. I just wonder how much Huck Porty plays into their thinking for this year. And might it convince them to be get a little risky when it comes to Mitch, like take a leap of faith, hope that Mitch comes back, hope that Mitch can be some version of the guy that we've seen over the last however many years. Because then at least if that doesn't work out, obviously you have Precious here, but I don't know. Like, I think it's pretty clear by now that they just do not trust Precious as the backup five. That much is very obvious. I think they just feel like it's too small and it's not tenable, which, hey, maybe they break it out at some point during the playoffs. We'll see. But I don't know. I wonder if it changes their calculation, or if you really want to get nuts, and I'm not going to go this far, but if you really want to get nuts, does Huck Porty embolden them to move Mitchell Robinson for whatever, something? Because they trust him to play rotation minutes right now, even when everybody's healthy. I can't go that far. Again, rookies are going, like, whether your rookie is awesome or whether your rookie stinks, the defining trait of a rookie is that they are inconsistent. And you saw it tonight. Huck Porty was awesome in the first half. In the second half, not so much. So it's going to be interesting. I'll be very curious to see what they do, but I got to think that they're excited about this kid in the organization. And I think that tonight showed you why they're excited. And I think it showed you why a lot of us are excited. I'm certainly excited. Okay. I think that's it. Thought the benches in general played well. More in the first half than the second half. Deuce only 21 minutes, only made 2 of 5. Tough block at the rim. That wasn't ideal at the time that it came. This was maybe a bit of a step back for Deuce after the previous 3 games, and he was really good. But what are you going to do? I didn't feel like he really fully had it tonight, which is, again, one of the reasons why I was okay with Precious being in the game down the stretch. And again, they scored 120 points. So you go with the size and you trust that. I think that's it. I think I had all the stuff. Thank God for Jalen Brunson, man. Seriously. What would we do without that guy? I don't want to know. And we don't have to know because he's going to be here for a very, very, very freaking long time. And on that note, we're going to take a quick word to hear from our friends, if I could find the ad read, because I'm always on top of this stuff, at Cornbread Hemp. Here we go. America's first ever USDA organic THC gummy. Their mission is to improve your quality of life with the highest quality hemp. Tons of great stats and data about cornbread. 1-to-1 THC to CBD ratio, just enough to take off the edge, and you're not left feeling anxious or paranoid like a lot of other cannabis edibles. I could attest to that. I've been enjoying the cornbread products that were sent to me, including these wonderful THC blueberry breeze gummies that I have been enjoying periodically over the last couple of weeks. 10 milligrams of THC per gummy. It's just the right dose. No harsh solvents, no synthetic ingredients, and obviously it's Farm Bill compliant and legal. That's the key word for adults over the age of 21. If you are looking for a healthier way to enjoy a carefree moment, you have to give Cornbread Hemp a try. If you want to take advantage of that first ever USDA organic THC gummy that is 100% legal, use our special offer here at Knicks Film School. You can get 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use promo code KFS at checkout. Again, that's cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS for 30% off your first order. Cheers to a healthier life. And on that note, I'm drinking water tonight because the flu is going around my house, and I'm not 100% sure that I don't have it. So we're taking it easy on this evening. And here we go. John Leary. What is going on, John? Huck, Hart, Precious lineups get outscored by a lot. So, again, we're focusing on what those lineups are not doing so great. The spacing is tough. Absolutely. The spacing is tough. I'll pull up the offensive rating for that lineup in a few minutes here. I think they're still figuring it out. I think right now, when you lose a guy as valuable as OG Anunoby and you're trying to just make do, you're gonna have to make some compromises. And there's some stuff that lineup I think has the potential to do really well. I thought the lineup was fantastic on the first half, and then the second half wasn't as good. So you're gonna try to continue to find your way. Maybe we see less of Hart with them and more Mikal Bridges, but I think rather than pull the plug, I think you're dealing with a rookie. You're dealing with a guy thrust into kind of a new rotation role in Precious Achiuwa. So you give it time. You give it time. Keep trying to see if you can make it work a little bit better. Guys get used to each other and see where it goes. Thanks, John. Jay Vertical, what's going on, Jay? After the first half, I'm ready to give Huck the Deuce contract. Legit NBA backup already. Huck won't affect anyone's future, but overall, the center room is good. Knicks have won 34 out of 51. I think that's good. Yeah, this team is really good. This team is really good. They're really talented. I think their mindset is right. I think they approach games with the same level of seriousness. Again, 2 wins for every loss. They're incredibly well coached, prepared to play every night. It's like all the things that you want. We're going to continue to still have our quibbles about how they match up with the Bostons and Clevelands and those teams, but I have a tough time imagining a Knicks fan who isn't happy with where this team is at right now. I certainly am feeling pretty good about where things stand. Again, 34-17. And by the way, 16-8 away from the Garden. That's a really, really good number. And I want to say that's one of the best road marks in the league, but I will double check that right now. Thanks, Jay Virgil. Busy. What's going on, Busy? For the second time this season, I faced Macri and catch the injury bug yesterday. Giannis now KD is doubtful and might get traded. Fantasy God, hate me. You caught a break with me because I had Senjun in my IR spot tonight, and I realized it too late, and so I didn't get him off IR, even though he played tonight in Brooklyn. So you caught a break because I had a freaking crazy day staying home with my daughter who's got the flu. And yeah, I've not been in tune with fantasy these first 2 days, even though this is a big matchup between us. Obviously, there's playoff seeding on the line. There's making the playoffs is on the line. You know, you're in safer position than I am, but so I need to win more than you. So I'm not complaining that I'm getting a little lucky here, Busy. I need it. I need the luck. Thank you. Another one from Busy. No complaining tonight. A win is a win. Take it. Yeah, I just like you do what you have to do, you know, and you rack up the wins where they're there to be racked up. Am I bothered, you know, or bothered's the wrong word. Am I a little annoyed that it became the game that it became? Yeah, but this is the NBA. This is the shit that happens, you know. So it is what it is. Thanks, Busy. Appreciate you. Mr. Fabro, what's going on, Mr. Back-to-back on the road, landed at 2 a.m. I'll let this one slide. I think, yeah, like you're crossing the border. Let's put this in perspective. It is a road back-to-back against a team, and I know the Raptors are not good, and I know they did not have RJ Barrett tonight. I get all of that. This is a team that has been very good at home this season. And they came in tonight winning 6 of their previous 7 games, including a nice win over the Clippers. So the fact that the Knicks went in on the second night of a back-to-back and kind of broke their spirit, and then they rediscovered that spirit, and the Knicks were kind of like, oh, my God, we really have to do this. And then before they know it hit them, they were involved in the game. Like, give the Raptors credit for getting back in it. A lot of teams wouldn't. They're well coached. They have some chutzpah to them, but yeah, I think we could give the Knicks a pass tonight because you came out with the win. If not, we wouldn't be giving the Knicks a pass. Thanks, Mr. Fabro. I am AK Legend. What's going on, man? Oh, my captain cannot express my gratefulness enough. Let's go Knicks. Are we allowed to gush about Jalen Brunson a little bit more? Like, how high can we put him right now today in the MVP standings? So I said last night, and I'll say it again. I think he's moved ahead of Cat in the internal Nick MVP race. So who talked about SGA? Those guys are above him. I'm sorry, I got to put him ahead of Donovan Mitchell on Cleveland. I'm putting him ahead of the only other person in the Eastern Conference who deserves to be mentioned in this conversation is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis, of course, is averaging 32 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and is having an exceptional shooting season from the field. In games that he has played, though, and he has only played in 41 games, Jalen Brunson has played in 49 games. So there is an 8-game difference. When in games Giannis plays, his team is 23-18. In games that Jalen Brunson has played, his team is 32-17. So the Bucks, even though Giannis has played in 8 fewer games than Jalen Brunson, in those games that Giannis has played, he has one more loss or the Bucks have one more loss than the Knicks do in the games that Brunson has played. Look, I get Giannis's numbers are outstanding and they deserve to stand on their own pedestal. I think there's a real argument for putting Brunson ahead of Giannis in the MVP race. I really do. I will get back to Tatum in a second. Just looking briefly at the Western Conference, other than Jokic and SGA, I actually don't even think there's anyone else you can consider. I mean, I think there was maybe a little bit of consideration given to KD at one point in time because his numbers were just very good. Like, his team's a game over 500 and they might trade him, you know? So I can't do that. So I think right now, it's down to Brunson and Tatum for me for third. And the Celtics won tonight. They had an awesome win over the Cleveland Cavaliers, beat Cleveland in Cleveland. That's, again, a really good win for the Celtics, who, of course, are going to come into Madison Square Garden on Saturday night with some real momentum. They have won 4 in a row. They're putting it together. Who knows? Maybe they think that they can make a run at the 1 seed, although I don't know if they really care about that. It's the one of those two guys for third place. So it's, whichever one you pick, I think it's perfectly perfectly respectable. Thanks, I am AK Legend. Mecky, what's going on, Mecky? Thank you. You're always so generous with the contributions. We really appreciate it here. I prefer this sort of win than a comfortable one. To be up that big and be tested in the fourth quarter is better than coasting. I think that there's some logic to that. I don't know that my heart agrees in terms of like its ability to continue functioning like at a peak level. I don't know if it agrees with you, but no, I do think it builds character. I do think the more you win these sorts of games, the better off you'll feel. The fact that you allowed the lead to get down to what it was, even after you put, your starters back in the game and everything. I wonder if that's the sort of thing that doesn't creep into your mind in a negative way when you have a big lead. Like, the last thing you want is a team that's up by a significant amount, like starting to get tight because they remember that, oh man, we've given up comebacks before. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen because I think all these guys kind of have the same view of what I said at the beginning, which is that this is the NBA. Teams make comebacks, and they also know that, like, if you don't do the shit you're supposed to do, like get back in transition, basic stuff, teams are gonna score. So, if anything, I would go the other way, and I would say it's motivation for them not to let this sort of stuff happen again, number one. And to your point, it is proof that, like, hey, we could go ahead and we could make the big plays down the stretch. For as much as the Knicks offense was, frustrating at times down the stretch of this game, the Knicks, when I'm looking right now, with so the Knicks, yeah, here we go. The Knicks had 112 points with 2 minutes to go, 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go. So to be able to score 9 points in the final 2 minutes, they basically didn't. Actually, not basically. They did not come up empty in any of their final possessions in the last 2 minutes. That's a great sign. That when they needed buckets, they got a bucket literally every time. So between Hart, the bucket I mentioned, and then Jalen Brunson doing everything that Jalen Brunson did, good confidence builder, to your point. Thanks, Becky. Appreciate you. Dan Hidalgo, I feel last year's competitive edge returning. Yeah, it's weird, right? Because, like, again, I don't disagree with you. Before I say what I'm going to say, I do not disagree with you. It feels funny and like backhanded in a way to make that comment about a team that was racking up a lot of wins before this recent stretch, which has us feeling a lot of the vibes of last season. At the same time, how were they winning a lot of those games? They were winning a lot of those games, one, because they played some poor competition, or in turn played some good competition that was not having their best night. And then their offense was just so like shot out of a cannon that the games were never close. So it's tough to build up a competitive edge in those sorts of games. And that's how so many of their wins, that's how they got so many of their wins. And a lot of the close wins that they got, I know this is describing this too tonight, but they were against bad teams. Now tonight was against a bad team, again, a team that's been playing better lately, but that's where I factor in the second night of back-to-back and the whole thing. They know they're more than capable. So yeah, I feel the same way. And if we're going back to, I forget who brought it up a few games ago, or maybe a week or two ago, the whole possibility, the Phil Jackson one, get to 40 wins before you get to 20 losses. They would now need to go 6-2 to make that happen. Can the Knicks go 6-2 over their next 8 games? The schedule in which they have to do that is Boston, Indy, Atlanta, Chicago. Chicago had a nice win tonight against the Miami Heat, even though they are supposed to be tanking. at Cleveland, at Boston, Philly, who they had a nice win tonight against Dallas, and then at Memphis. There's no picnics in there, including Chicago, who could put up 1 billion points, even without Zach LaVine. There's no picnics. Every one of those games is going to be tough. 6-2 is asking an awful lot. But if they could do that, man, then we will have no questions left about their competitive edge. Then that competitive edge will be all the way back. Thanks, Dan. Jeff Guitars, what's going on, Jeff? How are you, man? Not sure, not what you want, blowing the lead, but great to get it out on the second night of a back-to-back. Coming back to that theme, I agree with that. I can't believe I got to root for Brunson. I get to root for Brunson. 2 bigs with Hart lineups are more viable than I thought. Okay, so we have a little bit of a difference of opinion here on the 2 bigs with Hart. Again, I think it comes down to what you value, not what you value. You value winning. You value lineups that are good. You value lineups that outscore teams. But there are those out there who watch NBA basketball, and if your spacing is not there, if you do not have as much floor spacing as you could have, to those people by default, it is a bad lineup decision. And I think that way of thinking, I'm not saying it is an incorrect way of thinking, certainly, but it is definitely a kind of a current way of thinking with the way the league is, because we are all taught, and how many times have I said this year? It's an offensive league. You got to be able to score. I do think, and again, this is going back to what I was talking about a little bit last night, the notion of having some off-speed pitches to be able to win games in different ways. Do I think that we are going to see any of those lineups in the playoffs? Absolutely not. I don't. But to be able to clean up on the glass, to be able to offer some real resistance on the defensive end and make life really tough on the defensive end. And then to have, and here's the other part of it. And this is why I thought the lineups, the non-shooting lineups in the first half were really good, because they were with Jalen Brunson in the game. You have all of these different guys to screen for Jalen Brunson. And that's a throwback to last year when you had all these different big guys to screen for Jalen Brunson. And how quickly we forget the Hartenstein, Precious, Hart lineups last year, they were able to do some things because you just had a lot to throw at defenses. And then you have Jalen Brunson basically going into jungle gym mode. And he could still do that. So I'm with you. I think they are viable. And I think to dismiss them out of hand because the spacing isn't as good as you would like it to be. And then there's the obvious corollary to all of this, which is that, if anybody is out there still yelling and screaming about how could you play these lineups, it's okay, well, devise your alternative. Plan out your 48 minutes in which you don't have to see any of these lineups in which you have 2 bigs and Josh Hart out there at the same time. And I'm pretty sure you're going to run into problems. They may not be problems as you see them, this theoretical you out there. But there's always compromises. There's no such thing as putting a lineup out there. I mean, especially when you're down at OG Anunoby for the Knicks right now, there's no such thing as putting a lineup out there because they just don't have the depth that's not going to be compromised in some way, shape, or form. So it's just about what compromises do you want to make. That's all. Thanks, Jeff. Adam Bendett, surprise Tibbs closed with Precious over McBride. I wasn't tonight. I thought Precious was the better of the 2 players tonight. And again, it goes back to that same thing. Is the idea of spacing the be all end all for you, or is there some other stuff that you want to consider and factor in? I mean, Precious tonight, it was a -14, so that's notable. And I think a lot of that came because he was on the floor during that big comeback. 17 points, 7-11 from the field, 8 rebounds. And here's the big number for me. Well, actually, there's a few big numbers for me. 3 big numbers for Precious Achiuwa. 6 offensive rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. I think you saw on the defensive end tonight, and DJ Zulo, shout out to him, had a tweet to this effect. He really is at the 4 becoming a weapon defensively. I know he's not perfect. I know Barnes got him there towards the end of the game in a big 2-point basket, but he's becoming a weapon defensively. And I think if you had McBride out there against a lineup that had some pretty good size, and again, it's not just size guarding, it's size rebounding. And that's the other, the big, if you want to look for like the stat of the game, Knicks 43 rebounds, Raptors 34, again 17 offensive for the Knicks, 10 offensive for the Raptors. So yeah. Thanks, Adam. Emil Boumansor, what's going on, Emil? Need to feed the bodega in the 4th. Good win. Nonetheless, Brunson is him. The offense got pretty stagnant. There. And Towns, for as great a game as he had in the first half, and I talked about it, he was a little quiet there in the second half. He was at 20 and 15 at the half, which means, doing, again, a little quick math, which is always dangerous, 7 points and 5 rebounds in the second half. So not as big an impact, obviously, nearly as he had in the first half. I wonder, he's the one guy that I do wonder about is he getting a little tired. He played, I think, 41 minutes last night, 39 minutes tonight. I thought he had some looks in the second half that were decent looks that didn't go down. But his impact in this game was on the offensive glass. So, but when their offense gets stagnant and when they aren't looking their best, it's because of exactly what you're talking about here, Emil. And that's on everybody. That's on Brunson to get, Brunson has talked about this. It's my job to get Cat involved. It's on Cat to get himself involved. It's on the coach to, they don't really call plays for Towns. They call plays for everybody else. They don't really call plays for Towns. So that's something else. And there were the Raptors do not have the sort of switchable defense where you're going to be left with a player guarding Towns that you're comfortable with, like a Dylan Brooks, right? They don't have that. And their centers, whether it's Jakob Poeltl or Kelly Olynyk, those guys don't stand a freaking chance. So I completely agree with you. It's a fantastic point. Hopefully that's one of the things they live and learn from. Although the one counter to all of that is are we really going to complain that the ball is in Jalen Brunson's hands at the end of the game? I think at the end of the day, you want to have your cake and eat it too, which is why you want the ball in Jalen Brunson's hands, but you do want him utilizing Karl-Anthony Towns to the fullest extent. So, yeah. Thanks, Emil. All right. Quick word to hear from our friends at BetUS. Where are we? Here we are. Did you know that BetUS also has a casino? If you didn't, now you know. For anybody out there who likes slots or live casino games and dealers, please do take advantage of BetUS's amazing sign-up bonus, 200% sign-up bonus to up to $5,000, or 250% for a crypto sign-up bonus for all you crypto heads out there, up to $5,000. You can get ready for the rush with a BetUS casino trip. Generous promotions and tournaments make every play even more rewarding. You might as well sign up now and experience the difference. As always, use that promo code YouTube150. It is YouTube150 to receive a 150% bonus on your first deposit, as well as a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. Remember that gambling involves risk. Only gamble with funds that you can afford to lose. All forms of betting carry financial risk, and it is down to the individual to make bets with or without the assistance of the information provided. Okay. Anthony Sixto, what's going on, Anthony? How are you? Last game, Clyde said the Huckster reminded him of Bill Russell. No need for the rest of the context. We have our Frank Award nominee for 2025. That would be fun to go back and do the Frank Award for every year. The young player. Does it have to be a rookie? Does it have to be a rookie? The guy that we get way, way, way too excited about. And like, are we like, has Tyler Kolek does he already have that wrapped up? I don't know. Unless we do have to flesh out what this definition is. Is it when we see like signs and we extrapolate those signs to mean way more than those signs should mean? That feels like the Frank Award that should be that. But I think Huck Porty is a worthy, certainly a nominee. You'd argue is a worthy winner. Last year they didn't have any rookies on the team, so we didn't get a rookie. We didn't get someone from last year. Deuce McBride was the Frank Award winner for the 2022-23 season, and then Quentin Grimes was the Frank Award winner for the 2021-2 season. How far back should I go with this? Let's do one more. For the 2020 manual quickly. 19 or so yeah, that's next. Here we go. Wait. Here.
It's all right, everybody. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to get Macri back. John has AOL. We're going to get Macri back, but for now, we're going to continue on with the show, with the Super Chats. Jihad Brown. What's up, John? The run that Brunson is currently on deserves strong MVP considerations. I wonder how the metrics look without JB on the team. Yeah, probably bad. Or not bad, because we still have some guys who could do some things. We still have Karl Towns, who's, starting all-star. Mikal Bridges has turned his season around since the early days. So it's we could still be a pretty good team. Could be a little different also because without Brunson, the next man up is going to play, a little more defense if it's Deuce or if it's whoever. Hold on.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know how much you heard. That's what I get for talking about Izzy Brasdeikis.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear Izzy. Izzy Brasdeikis is crazy. That's a blast of the past. Is Macri going off again? Hold on. It was a little bit robotic. Hold on.
Hold down the fort for another minute, and I'll come back unless I'm good.
Okay, I'm not good. No, it's looking shaky.
Hang on, I'll be back. Hang on.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, while Macri's rebooting, I'm gonna continue on talking about the team. Yeah, this is a good team, guys. This is I think we have a lot more than people realize. Obviously Brunson does all the Jalen Brunson things, and all of those things are necessary. You need a closer. That's why a team like Houston last night couldn't really get it done. You need a closer sometimes. Oh Lord, hold on.
Good, bad, indifferent. Something?
Yeah, it's
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 something?
there. We're gonna right now. I'm talking about Jihad Brown's super
Yeah, no,
chat.
I see. Can you? Yeah, I see. I can see
All
you.
right,
I can hear you.
yeah.
All right.
But go ahead, let them know what you think. I think the team would be good without Brunson still, but it wouldn't be this. Partially because Brunson's the closer, and if you look at what happened with Houston last night, really they didn't have a closer, and I think that was like the big reason that we were able to, take care of business. But let me know what you
So
think.
let me say the metrics and everything. The numbers without Brunson this year are night and day from the numbers without Brunson on the floor last year. I don't know that I would use that to say that like he doesn't deserve MVP consideration or the team would be like fine without him. I'm pulling him up right now. But like because the fact like all those lineups, all those minutes, they're coming against backups. Like we have not seen this team play another team's best grouping other than the one game that Brunson missed. And the game that Brunson missed, if I recall correctly, was not against a great team. So, I mean, I think they need him. I think he is absolutely it should be an MVP consideration, even if you look at the on-off metrics and they're not that kind. To I don't know what other conclusion you could possibly draw. You know, I hope all that came through.
Most of it did.
Yeah, without Brunson on the court this year, they are outscoring teams by 12 points per 100 possessions, which is insane. That's a really good number.
Yeah, so we're still good without Brunson.
Yeah, which is a good sign. I don't think that that's a reason to take him out of MVP consideration, though. Yeah.
All right.
All right. You stay up here with me because hopefully I don't crap out again. But in case I do.
Yeah.
All right. We got Dom. Winning this back-to-back after taking a slight step back on Saturday is more encouraging to me than having OG and Mitch soon. Maybe soon. When do you think Mitch is going to be back, Kev? I think March.
I think after the All-Star break. If he's practicing now, I think after the All-Star break.
I think we're getting OG back after the All-Star break. I think we're getting Mitch back in March at the earliest. Because I think Ian had a good report today talking about still some hurdles to clear, and then there's the whole ramping him up back to game condition and all that stuff. I feel like we're close to a month away from Mitch. OG, I'm holding out hope. It's the first game after the All-Star break.
Okay, we got two more from Dom.
Okay, let's do it. You clinched your week with a 5-4 finish. Now what? Now we celebrate? I don't know. I need to get a scoreboard update on where I'm at in terms of the season standings. I think I may have already clinched the win for the year.
Wow, you're that far ahead?
I think so. I need someone to do the math.
I'm gonna have to call Andrew on that.
Yeah, we do. And another one from Dom here.
Yep.
Do you get the sense that Tibbs? Thank you again for the generosity, Dom. Do you get the sense that Tibbs is prepping up to have a bench core of Cam, Deuce, Mitch, and Precious? We should probably mention that Landry Shamet didn't play basketball tonight, which I'm not saying he deserved to based on how he's been playing recently, but still worth noting. Who's the fifth guy there? That's the problem, because you're not playing Towns with those lineups, right? You're not playing Towns, Mitch, and Precious together. And if you got Cam in the game, you're probably not playing Brunson. So are you going to do Bridges with that group? To me, again, if we're talking like a real playoff series against a real team, I don't think this team should play a single minute of basketball without either Karl Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson on the floor. So what I suspect would happen if both Precious Achiuwa and Mitchell Robinson were on this team after the trade deadline, which I don't know that they will be, I think there's going to be some kind of a staggering situation between Precious and Mitch. And I don't think that we are going to see minutes with both of those guys on the floor at the same time, just because of the situation that I just explained. That's where I'm at. But we'll see. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. Androv White. Hey, John. We met on Saturday during the watch party. Thank God for number 11. Now 3 days off before Boston. Get some rest. Cap. Hashtag remember where we came from. Yes, that's a good reminder tonight. Great meeting you, Androv, and great meeting everybody at all these watch parties. Is that a good time to flash the watch party graphic, Kev?
It is.
Okay, let's do that. So we got another one. We are getting off the Schneid this weekend. It's going to happen. I don't know how. I don't know what is going to take. I don't know if a lightning bolt is going to need to strike Jason Tatum, whatever it is. Boston Celtics this Saturday, T-Squared Social. Be there or be T-Squared. Free admission, as always, right down the block from Grand Central Station. Kickoff. We'll kick things off at 7:30. Tip-off is at 8:30. And of course, tonight's Out-of-Town Scoreboard is presented by T-Squared Social, where you can go for all of your sports bar needs. And you can visit them at tsquaredsocial.com to find out more information about all kinds of good stuff that they have going on. Club memberships and tonight.
Losing you, Mac.
Am I back? Am I so back?
Kind of.
So I'm not so back. I'm kind of back.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. The internet with the flu, apparently.
Yeah, you got to get healthy. You need some like Buckley's and Tussin and all that.
What? I don't know.
Buckley's is like an old cough medicine. That's like.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like $30 now.
Never heard of Buckley's.
It's like super expensive, but it works. It works.
That's good to know. Okay, hold on. I got the scoreboard up now. Okay, we got Sixers over the Mavs, Celtics over the Cavs, Nets over the Rockets. How did that happen?
Nets hit 2 threes late. It was somebody, then D'Angelo Russell off a turnover.
I saw the score at the end of that game, and I was like, oh, I guess the Rockets play with the win. And I got to look into that. And then the Bulls beat the Heat, who should have an interesting next 48 hours. I can't believe the Nets came back and won that game.
Yep. It was somebody, and then D'Angelo. Was it Zaire Williams? I'm not sure. Chat.
The Rockets were up by 5 with 18 seconds left.
Yeah, I think
Keon
in the
Johnson
final
made a dunk.
Yep.
Dylan Brooks made 1 for 1 from the line. There were 9 seconds left. Keon made a 28-footer, Keon Johnson, to draw them within 1. Oh, and then it was an Amen Thompson bad pass. Oh, goodness gracious. Not what you want. Oh, wait, hold on. Andrew is saying, watch this live. I'm watching it live. Oh, my goodness.
Crazy.
Oh, that's got to be
crazy.
That's not fun if you're a Houston fan. So, again, here we are, Knicks fans being a little slightly perturbed that it took what it took to get the win tonight. The team that we played last night, we milked them of so much energy that they lost to the freaking Nets tonight and couldn't close the deal.
And Rockets fan film school is talking about, tipping the cap and all of that. Like, so
No.
it's the same. It's the same.
I don't know
It's
what they're
gonna be the
talking
same
about.
difference. You got to be saying second night of a back-to-back, and you know what I'm saying. You have to travel across the river and all of that.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm just happy I don't have to talk about it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, let's finish up here because I feel like I'm living on borrowed time.
Yeah. They said you have AOL, John. The chat said, the chat said you have AOL.
Man, what was my AOL screen name? It was something completely ridiculous.
I had a bunch.
I forget. It's been a long time. Sam Garcia's dad, what's up, Ray? I'm joining the Huck Porty Hive. Yeah, I think they're accepting new members. I don't think that bandwagon is full yet. You could probably get a good seat. Juanon, what's going on, Juanon? Face of the league, Scotty Barnes. That's it. That's the super chat. Normally, I'd write something about how overrated he is and how Masai is a joke, but I'm not going to do that tonight. Hashtag fire Tibbs. I don't know what the Raptors are doing. I don't know what the Raptors' long-term plan is other than hope that they draft Cooper Flagg. Like, they have all this money tied up in Barnes and Quickly, and at the moment, RJ, what are they hoping Giannis demands a trade north of the border or something? I don't know what their plan is other than hope they get a really good draft pick and they could draft and develop a guy who is going to be better than Scotty Barnes. I just don't know how you could count on that. So yeah, they're in a weird place in the league. I'm not sure it's a place that I would be thrilled to be in. And I feel like they've like relied on their organizational culture or whatever to get them out of this morass. And I don't know that we could say for sure that exists still anymore if it ever did. So yeah. But I don't know. Are Raptors fans happy? You have to go ask a Raptors fan.
According to the coach, though, Scotty Barnes is face of league. So
that is what the coach said at one point in time. Yeah. He's a nice player. I'm higher on Scotty Barnes probably than most. I think he's a nice player. Like, he didn't make an all-star team this year. Like, I know obviously he was hurt, so that was a big part of it. But like, even in his healthy games, he wouldn't have had. If you extrapolate out his healthy numbers over the course of a full season, you assume that he played all the games. He still wasn't making the all-star team. Even if his team was better, I don't think he would have made the all-star team.
We'll see how it goes. Masai's supposed to be a genius, so.
And by the way, his team isn't better, and he's the best player on it, and he's got a couple other guys that are like decent. So what does that tell you?
They're not bereft of talent.
No, they are not bereft of talent. They gave the Knicks hell tonight. Stevens Guillaume, 3 days off. Bring on Boston. They better be freaking ready. Are you ready, Kev?
I'm ready, man. I mean,
do you have a scarf picked out for Saturday night?
I will have a scarf. Actually, I'm doing the post game, so I might try to come. Okay. I might try to come in at halftime, boogaloo back to the studio to set up. But
okay. For
those who haven't been, the watch parties are cool. It's a lot of fun.
We had a good time. We had a very good time the other night, even though the game turned into not as good of a time. But
the wins are amazing, though. The wins are amazing. The losses are very solid, very, very still a fun atmosphere and everything until the very end. You know what I mean? But come through if you're in the area. It's right there, right next to Grand Central.
It's a good
simple.
Time.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Stevens. Appreciate you. Sam Garcia's dad with another one. 11. Yep, still him. He is very much him. Jalen Brunson, him. Right? That's the nickname.
That's how you say it.
There you go. Parrish. Oh my goodness. What does Parrish have in store tonight? Well, what do you know? Like I've screamed for this coach to do. Play bigger. Huck Porty with Cat. 5 out offense is stupid without great shooting. A+ Tibbs. So again, we have someone who's a bit of a contrarian. Put more size on the floor. I thought the Cat Huck Porty minutes were really good. And I think a lot of people, watched that and speculated, is he getting ready for Cat Mitch minutes together. Man, I'm very high on Huck Porty. I'll just say that. I'm very high on Huck Porty. I liked the look of it, and I want to see more of it moving forward. So I'm down.
One more from Parrish. P. Duggar.
So nice, I'll say it twice. Play Huck Porty with Cat. We hadn't seen it all year. But honestly, it's not even that we hadn't seen it all year. We hadn't seen Cat play. I mean, we've seen Cat obviously play with Precious a lot, but we haven't seen Cat play with Sims. Obviously, we haven't seen Cat play with Porty. And when Cat does play with Precious, Cat is playing the center role as opposed to the 4. Tonight, I think you saw Huck Porty really on both ends of the floor when he was out there with Cat. It was like Porty who was the 5 and Cat who was the 4, which is an important distinction and a notable one. And I don't think that was an accident at all. I think it's interesting that Tibbs went to it, and I'm happy he did, and I'm happy we got to see it. Good stuff, Parrish.
So we got the blank super chat from Chris Dayton, but
thank you, Chris. But maybe a comment somewhere. Here we go. Okay, up 23. I felt like this is what great teams do. Put inferior teams to bed early. This is what really good teams do. Here's to having OG and Mitch healthy. I think we are at a place in the league where no team is immune to this. I haven't seen the stat updated, but I know New York basketball was floating it around at the beginning of this season, certainly, and I'm pretty sure this is still true. Maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, a team in the league that hasn't lost a game in which they were up by at least at the beginning of last year. Last year up until now, they're the only team who hasn't fully blown. Now, they've come close to blowing some 15-point leads this year, but I don't think they haven't lost a game where they've been up by at least 15, right? I think the Cavs early in the year, they were up by 13. I know that. Yeah, no, I don't think they have. If someone could, if I'm wrong, somebody let me know. But I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. And
it was something where it was absurd. Like if we're winning in the fourth quarter, we're normally winning the game. I don't remember the exact stat.
They just again, it's not always pretty, but the fact that we focus on what happens here, so we see these comebacks and we're like, oh, it's annoying. It happens to good teams. It happens, and it happens. That's just the league. That's the 3-point defense. It's it's just, it is what it is. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean you should brush it off. But I think it does happen a lot.
I meant to say winning entering the fourth quarter. Yeah, this team is really good winning entering the fourth quarter. I think it's because like most of the times when we're losing, it's for like a reason. Like this team is really good and talented. Like we're not giving up these leads most of the time, but it's a good one. John, you still there? You still there? Freeze frame. He's looking to the right. All right. Kinda, John. Kinda.
How many more super chats we got?
There we go. Not too many. We're almost there.
All right, let's get through these.
We'll fight through. As we proceed, no puff. All right.
Jalen. I'm trying to read this. Will you ish behind Giannis and Tatum in the world? Will finish behind Giannis and Tatum in the real world? They could use a scoring wing off the bench now or in the summer. It's not happening until the summer. I completely agree with you. They could use a scoring wing off the bench. My prediction is that Jalen Brunson, for the second year in a row, will finish 5th in MVP voting. That is what my prediction is. Not saying he should. I'm saying that's what my prediction is. Kevin! Hey, Kev. Saw the Brutalist tonight. Didn't watch the game. What happened? They won. How Having seen the brutal game more, but yeah. Thanks, Kev. Andrew Claudio, love it. I'm down with that. Thank you, Andrew Claudio. Tom Cappuccini, I feel for IQ's rough season could even close. I saw that. I noticed it, and I was like, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, he's having a rough year. Let's just leave it at that. He's having a rough year, and I hope that he kind of can put it behind him in the summer and attack next season with, renewed vigor.
Rough year for IQ, and get well soon, RJ.
Yes, that was. I didn't see the fall until they showed it tonight. That was nasty.
Yeah, that's tough. And I'm still one of the Knicks fans who's low key rooting for the young guys. Like, they were our guys, and I'm 100%. I was screaming for the OG trade, for a while actually, but they're still our guys. Once a Knick, always a Knick. So get well soon, RJ. Play better quickly.
There you go.
And this next one's our last chat.
There we go. We made it barely. And less effective Macri Wi-Fi or Huck Hart Precious lineups. That was good. That was good by Andrew. That's fitting. My Wi-Fi easily, without question. Oh wait, is he coming?
Without question.
Without question.
Oh,
you were here the other day, and you said you were going to try to figure out the hardwiring, and we both took a nap instead.
Yeah, it's something called the Brutalist. It's the thing that injects a nap into your schedule. So
yes, it does.
Yes.
Okay.
Was that the 4-hour movie y'all watched?
Yeah, man. It was a
3.5.
a KFS date to the movies, and I saw it, and it saw me for parts, but yeah. Yeah. He is this is a struggle bus tonight, huh?
Sign us off, Andrew. Why don't you...
John, I heard sign us up, and you disappeared. I feel bad, man, because you had a rough day and you're trooping your way through it. But
it's like,
and now he's frozen. Now he's back in the Matrix. He's sent to wherever Tibbs sent Landry Shamet tonight. So, okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the KFS Postgame Show presented by BetUS. Please like this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel. We are less than 700 subs away from 20K, so help us on our journey there. If you're listening on the podcast feed, leave a 5-star rating and a review. If you would like to get all your trade deadline questions in, whether it's as simple as Chris Boucher, join Jeremy for Cap Rules Everything Around Me Cream. On Wednesday night, we will announce a time at some point, but that's why you want to hit your notifications. So whether it's as simple as Chris Boucher or as crazy as Kevin Durant, no trade idea is too crazy because Luka Doncic got traded. Kev, do you have anything else before we get out of here? Oh, there's a watch party on Saturday. I know you guys mentioned it, but we are reversing the curse. We are breaking the streak this Saturday when the Knicks play the Boston Celtics at the Real Garden. Join us 7:30 for a pregame hangout. I am working on getting some trivia together around 8 o'clock. We'll see if we can get some prizes going. So join us. Be there or be T squared. John, if you can hear me, do you have anything else?
No.
Did you hear it?
I heard the delay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Everybody share this. Share all of the KFS content. You know what I'm saying? Post it to your socials. Make sure your grandmother knows that we're here.
Yes.
Knicks Film School.
All the grannies. Come hang out at Knicks Film School. There's free gummies. All right. Bye, everybody.